interest? Anyone?
As I say, apologies for not on the board.
Yeah, apologies for not all like as you can see the cable's too short. Any public questions?
I'll have a public question, but because Councillor Thorne's here, it may be appropriate just to ask at that point.
Ask it now.
You can ask it now. It's
Yeah,
just because I'll be moving on to Councillor Thorne
okay.
after. So.
It was up to discuss it here. Notice that the unofficial lay-by up at the north end there is obviously being used for traffic a lot over recent months, and it's actually quite bad at the moment with all the traffic going in. Just know when we had our walk-arounds that there was potential that you were looking at having bird mouth fencing and some shrubs planted, so to keep people off that area. So I was just wondering if that was still on the cards to happen.
It is still on the cards, and I think, you know, the only way we are going to keep people off there is by planting something there.
Yeah.
And I would rather it was plants rather than fencing.
Right.
But yeah, so I am on that, and hopefully within the next few months we'll get something done.
So maybe that could go on to one of the Parish Council committees to actually keep that
Pursue
on.
it to,
Yeah.
Okay.
Couple on the public way.
Yeah.
I came in the other day and I noticed a road sweeper parked there, and as he drove away, he made a serious mess of the road with mud. Yeah, I really mean
come on, council, we're trying to improve that, not make it worse.
Just because you would like to move on any disclosure of interest?
No.
Okay.
Yes.
Happy to skip ahead here.
Yeah.
So you can hang around.
So I have been speaking to Sarah Hudson. Obviously, I saw the great progress that had been made on the walkway down at Riverside, the good job, and just wanted to make sure that members' small schemes were going to, you know, pay my contribution promptly. So I went in, liaised with Claire, and I think we've got all systems go now for the money to come through. But you know, it's a fine job, and you know, I think what you've done too, tidying up the trees along there, it's made a good and tidy job, and hopefully, you know, we're going to get the public down there using the walkway and enjoying that bit of the river. Very, very nice.
Am I allowed to ask questions?
Of course.
Would you like to do a ground reopening of it?
Well, I was just saying to the chair and the clerk that I don't want to do a grand reopening, but yes, just, you know, for my records too, it's just always good to have something as to where you spent your money and what it's been spent on. So it'd be nice to have a photo or something. And, yeah, so whatever the Parish Council decide, I'm happy to go along with.
I know the deadline for the bridge is on the 10th of March.
The what, sorry?
The deadline for the bridge magazine is the 10th of March. Would you like to write something about it?
I will. Is that all right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we can get a picture this week if you want.
So yes, the other thing I was going to say was, you know, just a little comment about roads. Obviously this winter has been extremely wet. We've had a lot of heavy rain, an awful lot of damage to roads over this period, a lot of potholes, and obviously it's going to take some time to get the services back into good order again. In the recently approved budget, we have been allocated extra cash again from central government for investment in roads and pavements. You know, locally, one little piece that I'm very relieved and pleased to see is that little bit at Swollen Fence there. There was, you know, very poor surface coming down from Long Fram towards Swollen Fence, and you know, they made a good job of resurfacing it. I'm always disappointed, you know, I see always a large figure, 70k or something, and I think, wow, we're taking the road all the way up to Fram, but of course, it never quite goes that far, does it? It's always just a smaller piece, but, you know, I think it is a better smaller piece than, you know, these days they seem to do the homework with the drains, and, you know, that's one of the important things. It's no good repairing the road if you don't take the water off it and make sure it sort of drains away, so that's good. And I was just going to have a little bit about the budget, some of the things in it. Obviously, we'll pass the budget on 21st of Feb. Again, trying to push Northumberland as a, you know, a land of opportunity, somewhere to invest, trying to get investment into our market towns, and also trying to re-establish Blythe Camas as a renewable energy centre. You know, within the budget, we have allocated a strategic development fund, 15 million, and obviously that's to take that battery site forward. You know, as most of you know, British Felton went down, and the administrator was dealing with it then. The Australian company came in, renewable energy. Unfortunately, they didn't have the, you know, wherewithal or cash behind them to sort of carry the project through. So, you know, we're in the position now where we're trying to sort of, you know, buy it back, which was always, you know, in the contract that we'd have this sort of buyback clause, but also with this extra funding, you know, we're trying to sort of take that investment forward, and you know, there are people around at the moment that are interested in developing that site. So, you know, our aim again, we're trying, as in previous years, protect frontline services, the essential things, keeping the roads clean, emptying the bins, trying to leave those alone. Savings have been achieved more through efficiencies, trying to do the job better than cuts in our services. Our three priorities remain: value for money, promoting jobs and business, and thirdly, tackling inequalities. The free parking in our market towns, you know, remains a priority. We see that as really helping the retail economy, the shopping economy, and also hospitality outlets. This time we've created a new climate stroke environment fund, 55,000, and we are pushing projects forward across the county and promoting more expenditure on our country parks and also nature trails. We've also got a new pot of money for small businesses, rural small businesses, trying to promote them and take them forward. We're also promoting a skills programme, welding centre at Blythe, bricklaying programme, and this is, you know, partly on the back of the recent planning application for Northumberland College. Central government is investing 55 million in taking the new college forward in Ashton. General Reserve, although we've got this 15 million strategic development fund, our general reserves remain intact at 50 million. Spending more money trying to keep the county tidy, more money on litter picking, actually, you know, cleaning up the A1, not just for ourselves, but for business, for tourism, but also, you know, generally making it a nicer place to live and work. Again, you know, we are now going to be part of the new combined authority. So, you know, as most of you know, we had a North of Tyne combined authority, but at the moment we're all pulling together all the 7 local authorities and you know, the government is getting behind us there. So we've got 4.2 billion over the 30 years, and we're making sure that Northumberland doesn't lose out. Significant funding comes to our county. The new railway from Ashington down the southeast corner is due to open soon. Not all the stations have been completed. I think it's Bebbside and Bedlington, the bills aren't still complete, but we're hoping that the rest of the stations will be online and you know, get people off the roads and back onto the train into Newcastle, and you know, again helping, you know, economic progress, economic development along that route, and again especially in Ashington. I haven't much more to say, but anybody want to ask any questions? Yep.
Within those versions of what you were saying there, is there anything that you might be interested or could be applying for grants-wise and things for the projects that we've got going on within Felton Parish Council?
You know, I think it's just the normal sort of money pots. You know, I have been approached again about some investment in the rec field. And again, you know, I would like to give a little bit of money to that because a large chunk has gone to the walkway at Riverside. I haven't got another large chunk left, but I'm sure I've got, you know, a few thousand.
Next tax year though.
Have you got any this tax? Have you got anything left this tax year?
Yes, I've got some
For
coming
like funding for water test kits, that sort of thing?
water test. I'd have to, you know, size that out at County Hall, but yeah, you know, I'd be happy to give, you know, 4,000 or 5,000 to get you kick-started on a project for Redfield.
Would that be available for the mugger? Because we've talked about resurfacing the mugger.
Meeting of number.
Yeah.
Is that?
It was approved, it just needs now to go to the contracts and the weather.
I will explore that.
That's definitely something.
Thank you.
Try.
Yes, sir.
Would you be able to have a chat with highways at the county about seeing about getting the main street and surrounding roads and estate roads reduced to 20 miles an hour?
You have to put it in the LTP.
Yeah, I just wonder.
Yes, I can have a word with them.
I just wonder whether there's something Trevor can do as the county councillor.
Yeah.
There's quite a few of the villages in Northumberland that managed to succeed with that this year, and you know, I think with your help, maybe we can do that here and try and slow the traffic down a bit.
By all means.
All this is all tracking already.
Yeah,
but the main run through then at least.
Yeah. No, happy to take that forward.
One thing I've noticed is, I don't know whether it's quite farmer or the houseworks that have been on at West First, the amount of muck getting onto the road there.
Well, yeah.
I don't know whether who's to blame for it or something.
Well, it's the developer.
No, it's still gates.
Sorry?
Still gates.
Is it done?
Pull the leaks up. Leaks on that field.
Oh, but it was before he would start pulling the leaks. It was the house that we
Yes.
When we had
Because, you know, sort of Christmas time, round about there, we had, you know, sheets of mud coming down the path. We really did. And at that time, it was due to the housing developer trying to get rid of water into a drain. And of course, they blocked the drain. And then regularly, the mud and the water was coming down the path and lying outside the Northumberland Arms. And Glenn and Rob Murphy spoke to the housing developer then about, and eventually, you know, they did get it sorted out, but yeah.
So when we had when they did Belway, I think I recall that they agreed to do extra, like they got the road sweep out more frequently, and it was paid for by the developer to keep it clean. I'm pretty sure. I can't swear. I'd have to go back and see if I find anything, but I'm pretty sure.
I would just because it all leaks out at the same time.
I'm pretty sure it did. Yeah, it might be
I ask back to highways again? We have got a pre-plan application in the works for putting a building down on the wreck. And possibly we could have got a quick answer if we just put a general inquiry in first, but we weren't aware of the changes at that point of how pre-plan applications are very close to a full plan application now. At the moment, it's kind of in limbo there because they keep saying that we need a sweep plan?
Traffic movement plan.
Yeah, traffic movement plan for going down the wreck lane and taking lorries down there to deliver and actually do the building work and things, which obviously we would get done in full when we, if we know we're going to be able to do the building. But all of these cost money for us to do, which we'd be looking at getting a grant for doing the planning and things down there. And at the moment, we're just looking to get an answer out whether or not they'd be happy for us to
In
do that in principle.
Because if in principle the council's going to say no, never, then we wouldn't spend the money on all of these surveys.
Yeah.
No, well, I've got a meeting tomorrow with Rob Murphy.
Yeah.
We'll raise that with him.
I just want to know, because once I know that they would be happy with a building going down there, then we'll push forward and go for the grants.
And it's a building for
it's a community use, yeah. So at the moment we've got overuse of this building and a deficit down there of what we're doing, and we did put a full business plan together for the use of the building there and whatnot. But what we need to know is that they'd actually be happy with a structure going down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, by all means, take that tomorrow to it.
I guess the final thing for highways, not too sure it can do, they've started the sewage work down the bottom. Can we ask them to use the top entrance, the truck?
Can you use that anyway?
Yeah, I think they've got it signposted that that's where the what was it?
Well, the sign point you've got is if you see the the Bentley sign.
Bentley, it's going that way.
It's going past your house and towards the right.
Towards it. Oh, ask them to come in through the top of the village.
Right,
Not through the village.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably a good point. I thought you were talking through the
yeah.
Rotten right now.
No.
North entrance of A1.
The north entrance of
Yeah.
A1.
Yeah.
And then they'll need to switch that side to the other side of the road. I would imagine there'll be sensible in that. But
Well, they said that about Bellway, that never happened.
I think in the plot of the time of the lorry driver just for a GP, they don't necessarily pay.
That's the problem.
Sadly.
I hope they put a sign at the south entrance saying,
I think they did, that we had
the eventually from Bellway.
I think just once we sort of trail, I think we could take on, say thank you for the funding that you've given for the Riverside plan. And as you say, we acknowledge as well, James done a great job of it.
Yes.
And it'll be good to just get that recorded that it's finished and open.
Yeah, great. That'll do a little bit for
Thank you, that would be great, Jenna.
Okay. Let you off.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Phil.
Thanks for it.
Thank you.
Just for the illness of you getting disclosures of interest. No.
Actually, sorry, can I
Yeah.
add one, because I'm going to have to discuss the payments that have gone through to Jamie.
Okay. Yeah. Anything from Northumbria, please? Oh, sorry, I'm jumping ahead. Nothing there. Minutes of previous meetings. 3 to 5. Anything to note? If that doesn't adjust the how long that meeting was. But no, I'm happy with that.
Good to see the defibrillator in place.
Yes, it just needs connecting now,
Yeah.
which should happen any day, and we'll just have to keep an eye on the vegetation growth to just make sure it's clear.
Vegetation above it will die off and it'll pull off very
Yeah,
easy.
just make sure it doesn't sort of. It's beside the bridge, so if you stand at the level of it's on the right hand side of the bridge.
It's got a bag over it so because it's not wide on top of the end, but
panels.
Right, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so as soon as it's, I know it's connected up, it'll go on the circuit, which is the national database as well, so that the other research will know about it.
On the riverside, is there any mileage in digging the benches out?
Done.
Kind of done. Is it done?
Yeah. Last
Oh,
night.
right. Could you look at that?
Sorry,
Okay.
two Saturdays ago.
Yeah, right. You can actually sit in them now. Instead
As opposed to stepping on them.
Just sitting there.
It was mad how much silver
Yeah.
was.
Oh, yeah.
It used to be that the kids couldn't even sit on them because they were so high.
Yeah.
It's just like,
It's mad how much silk come out.
So have you seen the one in the Preston site? Like, it's virtually on the ground.
Yeah.
And then all
All that gravel's come
it's
out
all
of the
washed away.
factory.
that's the tree collapsing now.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
probably
falling
that
down.
has it, to be fair. Yeah, if we're all happy with it, vote to approve. Seven finances to receive summary of budget.
Nothing from the police.
Nothing to
Although I did get, nothing about any crime report, I did get a sort of generic email that he sent out to lots of parishes. He's obviously done some restructuring again, just offering to come out to meetings and so on. So I'll give him the dates of our next few case weeks and whatnot. Just if there's anything particular they want to do. They're happy to visit any organisations or parish councils, and just, but if there's any particular concerns, they can obviously address them. They're looking for ways to do their engagement.
The manager, if that's the right word, of Alnwick Police Station, as of next month, lives up in Benlow. So I guess it would be a good idea to invite them over and see what they want to. Yeah. He's leading up the rural crimes thing, as well as Alnwick Barrack Police. And so. Good.
Has everybody seen that post that went on Felton's about the theft
Oh yeah,
in the village
the other
today?
day.
Yeah.
No, not that.
It's
A car was broken. Was it a van broken?
I think I'm breaking in.
Car broke into at the top of the road there, and it was two people in a Freelander came down the bridge past the pub, and then off towards Swarland. The two people in a car. It's been reported.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Middle of the day as well, like 11:30.
Yeah.
Do you know Wheeler Village?
Huh?
Do you know, was it up in the
Up on the Miles Land. Was it somebody visit them and seemingly hammer through the window.
Oh.
So very opportunistic, I suppose.
yeah.
But then the police have been informed.
Yeah. And have we put a crime report in regarding the house fence?
No, because I was waiting for check the date and information. I've got to do it online. So our Harris, we had down at the map, there was two Harris fencing panels, you know, the kind of construction fences.
Oh.
And they were
Yeah.
been taken.
Just to check that the people who were doing the tree work.
Yeah, we checked all
check
that,
the
that's around.
The feet are still there, which would suggest that it's just, to me, it's probably
They've got
it's a
to
scrappy
do it.
opportunity. We'll grab that, we don't need the feet because we just want it for the money value.
I got my gate back last Saturday, so that's
Yes.
that is not there.
Because the ramp wasn't meant to be officially open,
No.
but the fencing went, and
Not in the code, though. Kids have no idea.
No.
No, they're definitely not there. We looked, I mean, all three of us have been down several times and looked.
When did
It's
this
the bottom of the, it's the bottom of the, it's not much.
I'm pretty sure they were there.
I mean, I looked at
Yeah, they were there, yeah.
So
'Cause
they were
I
there when
know,
they did the tree work, but then they disappeared after that.
yeah. I think they were there because I was down there. I think it was about 12:30, and they were laid down the floor, and the tree surgeons were just finishing clearing up. And then you were down there.
I was down there 5:30, maybe, or
Right.
5:20, something like that.
and they were gone then.
What happened to all the wood?
That's gone, that was
gone as well.
I think at the same time.
At the same time, yeah. Because
It was supposed to be left in the tree surgeon.
Yeah, it's an RSI.
Tree works, they
Yeah.
need to leave it. They definitely didn't take it.
Yeah, no, I checked with him for the tree surgeon straight away. There wasn't him, and that they
And we
said
asked,
that it would.
we asked Ian in the past.
Holding that then.
It wasn't Ian in the past either.
No,
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's been all taken, say like some down the trailer down.
Yeah.
Just just
later.
waiting on somebody leaving, basically.
I don't really see anything that we know of. We've not been noticed recording.
Really bad.
But I don't know whether you would even notice, you know, if somebody was official looking and loading a trailer, would you even pay attention to it? You would just sort of think it was supposed to be happening.
I don't know, some of the residents down there know it's a particular size, so you'd have thought they'd have raised
But
a concern.
They'll probably gone that low. It's a drop 10. Worst case of it, yeah. It seems it.
So I've written a report about the fencing and then.
How much did the tree work cost?
It was.
Roughly?
No, I've got the invoice I need to forward on to Claire, actually. It came in today. It was 2925, which included some trees down in the rec field as well.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah.
Did it come out of the environment riverside?
It came out of, there was
a decision to give to
I think there's.
yes, basically, but we put it in almost in next year's budget, hadn't we?
Yeah.
I have to look and tell her. I can't remember.
Right, okay. And when are we expecting money in from Councillor Thorne?
We've just spoken to him about
So
it.
I've done all of the forms. They are with Sarah at Northumberland, and she will get it to us this month because we want to all do it before year end.
Will we see him before the end of the
Yes.
financial year?
They want it.
Yes,
Accounts before year end as
It
well.
comes out of his accounts for this year.
Right, because they've got budgets as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can't carry forward money, can we, either, so
No,
it needs
that's
to come
why I'm
out.
guessing
Yeah.
he's volunteering some other money as well for other projects. So, any other questions on
Yeah, I've got the, on those accounts, we've now overspent the income to the end of February by £6,600. But if the money comes in from Trevor Thorne, then that's going to make it plus 4,600. But then we've got the cost of the tree work. So we might just about finish the year in red. Income versus expenditure. It's looking like I was trying to figure out in the budget how much more money we've got to spend this year, and it looks like it's about somewhere between £5,000 and £7,000 to spend for the rest of the year. So we're going to finish the year in red. And also
versus budget rather than versus
and versus income as well.
no, yeah, versus budget income, but not versus in actual funds.
Yeah, so it'll have to come out of the earmarked reserves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is point on them.
Yeah, but the so the money coming in from Trevor Thorne, how are we going to handle it? Where's it going to go against which reserves?
It's going to go to Riverside and environmental because that's where the money's come out of. So we've obviously spent the money on the ramp that's come out of there, and the money from Trevor will go back into there. So we've put 10,000 back in there.
Right. Okay. Yeah, and then we've got 30% spending cuts for next year. We spent 51 so far. We're going to spend probably another 56 roughly for the year, and we're looking at 30% less than that for next year. So that's quite a serious cut. I know there's all sorts of big expenditure on projects that won't come out of next year, but
this year included all the money for the audit to look at the audit.
How come out last year?
It did, but we borrowed from reserves in order to be able to pay that bill. So we had a much higher budget because we were reimbursing pots that we borrowed from. So, for example, we borrowed money from like the rec field, we borrowed money from street furniture, and some of that's gone back now, has been paid back to those accounts. We used all our general reserves to be that bigger. So all of that money has had to go back into those pots.
Okay. it'll be a new year, so we have it all to do over again. Okay.
Move on to 7B. Whilst we're still waiting, I'll give a little quick summary. Obviously there's been some comments from various councillors with regards to the way the accounting is presented and the way it is done with regards to inputs, etc. So Claire's reviewed 3 softwares so far. Easy PC, Realtis Alpha and Scribe.
So these are the three that get, I'm on a Facebook page for clerks, which you can imagine is fascinating. Whenever anybody asks what packages are recommended, these tend to be the 3 that get recommended. So Easy PC is a very basic level package. It's similar to the free software that Alan has been looking at. I think the benefit of paying over a free software is just that you've got that reassurance that there's effectively the IT support behind it. You know, it's been backed up, it can't be withdrawn. So that's a very basic package. It doesn't do anything very fancy, but it does produce the reports that you probably need. Realtis and Scribe are much more like professional, pricey offerings. Sorry, I was hoping to have all of the information to be able to provide it before the meeting, but I got the Realtis things really last minute. They've sent me, Realtis and Scribe have sent me through some PDFs with showing them the kind of reports that they can produce. The slight benefit of those over Easy PC. Realtis I don't think is great. It seemed very complex. It was almost like inputting into an Excel document, but it didn't seem to produce anything very user-friendly as an outcome. I thought Scribe seemed good, but it wasn't as pricey from what I've seen so far. The benefit of Scribe was that you could link to the cemetery, so you could automate all your cemetery forms and then basically tell it that you're expecting money in, and then it will automate it through the account system, so you could potentially tie the 2 systems together and make that very automated. So what I'll do, Easy PC, we can have a 3-month free trial. Realtis and Scribe don't offer a free trial, but I've sat through demos online with the sales representative, and they've sent the PDFs. So I'll it was just to update you really that that's a possibility. We don't have to go with it. We could go with a package like, for example, Alan has found a free software which I think we should compare with the same packages, and then if we can do a report for the next meeting with the 4 different offerings and the PDFs for everybody to see.
So with the Scribe, that is what you were saying about being able to tie the cemetery work into it, because we've got an issue with that at the moment with a cemetery clerk, haven't we?
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Realtis does sell a cemetery package as an add-on, but it doesn't. They don't, for some reason, link their 2 systems. So you then still what seemed good about the Scribe one is that you would basically tell it that you had it. You generate an invoice, and then it links the invoices straight into your account system. The other thing is Scribe, and I think Realtis didn't, but Scribe did. You can upload, you can attach the documents to the transactions. I mean, I think it was, it was good. What I felt, and as I say, I'll send everything around so people can have a look themselves, and obviously you can have a look at the website. I'm quite sure either organisation, if you did want to put onto an online demo and have a look, they would be happy for you to do that, because one of the Realtis one, I was on a demo with other people, including a councillor. The Scribe sales page was better, but I know that's no indication of good customer service afterwards, but Realtis struggled to get a demo. When I did get a demo, it was very one-size-fits-all with sellers on call, whereas the Scribe people asked what I wanted out of the system, and then they showed me those parts of the system, so it felt better. Easy PC, as I say, they don't offer a demo, but they do let you log in and use it for 3 months to see how you feel.
Isn't Scribe intended for slightly larger councils as well?
Yeah.
So ECC seem to be quite a small parish council.
It is.
Whereas the others seem to cater for sort of medium and larger.
Realtis Alpha is the smaller end, so Realtis has got 2 offerings, Alpha and Medium, and it's for bigger councils. And then I think Scribe's the same. Scribe does have a higher one that you could opt into if you needed different kind of accounting.
They seem to have more scopes. But when I looked at the 3 that you sent through with me, and I looked at us comparing one with the other, the scribes seem to have more capabilities that we might need.
Yeah, it's just whether or not the council wants to pay for a package basically, and I think Easy PC was much, as I say, I've only just had the realtors one and I haven't really had a proper look at what they're going to charge. But I'll send it all around, people can have a look. If anybody wants to be signed up for a demo, let me know and I'll try and put that on.
Do they have like a where you can, for instance, like Alan who's doing the what's that?
Reconciliation.
Reconciliation, that they can have a little viewer login.
Yeah, so both of them, I don't know about EasyPC, you'll need to check that, but I'm sure that they do have multiple logins. The other two definitely do, because I asked that specifically on the demo, so you can have read-only access for a number of extra people, which would obviously let people go in and have a look. That could be given to your internal auditor as well, so it could be potentially all electronic. Anyway, so just to say, we're looking at it. I'll link up with Alan to put his software in as well, because I know he's produced a couple of reports, and then everybody can have a compare of the different reports and see what we want to do.
Which one do you use?
Out of the ones I've seen,
Scribe,
just because it seemed awesome and all that, but it was the most pricey. I mean, to be fair, we probably don't necessarily need more than EasyPC. It just depends what we want to do with it. But I'll show you.
Time-wise, though, is Scribe likely to save us money?
If you take into account some of the house as well, the wages.
how much is it?
EasyPC was, don't quote me on these because I'm remembering them, £8, I think £8 a month. Scribe was about £30 for the accounting, then about £20 to add on the cemetery, so it is pricey, but if you're effectively automating the cemetery, it depends how much. I would need to I would want a bit more detail from them on the cemetery side to see how easy it was going to make it, because if it was a case of it did a lot of that automatically for you, and at the moment you're paying per burial for someone to do all of that manually. So but as I say, I haven't looked at the I've got the saw the realtors email in today, but I haven't really looked at how much they would charge.
So when you say automating the cemetery,
so what it does is you set up templates to say that all of your invoices, and you have to produce a number of forms for the cemetery. So there's a form that goes to the undertakers, for example.
I see. So it's like paperwork for the cemetery.
So all be done through almost, and then it would link to your account, so it would basically, you would put that on the system, and then you would tick it to say that invoice has been paid, and it would put it through your accounts for you. And I did ask about splitting it, because obviously we've got an issue with dividing the cemetery funds between 3 councils, and they both had suggestions, but said that they would have to work with us to make sure that was how we needed it to be. So anyway, just a slight update, but as I say, I haven't got all of the figures in.
Just for the record, GNU Cache is free. One that I use, and it's
What's it called?
GNU Cache. GNU Cache. GNU Cache. It's an open software license system, and it's extremely comprehensive.
But yeah,
I think
EasyPC is an equivalent of that, to be honest. So that's what I'm saying, that we might. My concern is that if it's free, that there's a concern that could be. You're not paying. I think if you're paying for a service, then you've got a certain amount of accountability. But I don't know. I was saying, do a report. I might get you to give me a report. We'll put them on, and then everyone can see what's offered, because it might be that we don't need to pay for something, or it might be that people want to. So I just thought I'd explore all three.
Even then, even if it seems an hour of your time, or a number of hours of your time in a month,
I mean, it is.
Potentially.
They do claim to produce the A
swallow up
that'll be
a cemetery clerk role that is vacant anyway, then potentially paying for that software might be a benefit in that.
It's not just that the clerk position is vacant, and we could potentially say something with that. It's the fact that filling that position is going to be an absolute. You have to find 1 million pencil to do it.
There will be a slight amount of setup for it, because obviously, ideally, you'd have your cemetery. You can map your cemetery on their system, and then a lot of the genealogy system, although genealogy information can be on there, so you can basically pull on the record and send it over. So it's things like that that I think would be there for moving us into it.
Which is what our clerk does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that speeds that up a little bit as well, probably.
That's a really good advantage.
But anyway, I'll send it around. I don't think she sent me some of the cemetery detail, the record pictures, so I'll make sure that I've got all of that sent through.
That's good. Anything further on that? Okay, go to C, to authorise payments. Yeah.
What is compliance? What is that?
Just because I haven't got anywhere else to put, I mean, it could go under admin. We have to pay the ICO as a data. We are registered with them as a data controller. So it's an information commission, it's a standard fee, we pay it to COP. So, I mean, as I say, it could go under a different head of expenditure.
This isn't compliance.
Our data processor only, I think, I can't remember what the exact, when we pay an amount to the ICO. We get a £5 discount because we pay by direct debit.
Now, how does the village board go £30, £36.50?
Oh no, sorry, that should have a heading. That right-hand column is the, you asked if I could include the budget for, sorry, I don't know why that's put off the heading. Yeah, I wouldn't be bothered with it.
That budget before. Okay. We're happy with the top edge payments. Yeah.
Just say at this point regarding Harman Design and Build, I think we've had a bit of a communication lapse back to Jamie regarding when he was going to be expecting money through from when we put the bill in. This has caused some upset and embarrassment, which I would rather avoid in future. I totally appreciate that when I alerted everyone to the fact that there was an issue, we got a really, really fast resolution of the situation. But I think in future, if we have got tradespeople working for us and the payment is not going to go through in what they would is considered a normal time frame, if there's any delay in it, that we communicate that with them. I mean, Jamie doesn't have a cash flow issue. It was the fact that there was not sufficient communication about what was going on, or acknowledgement that we were happy with the works that was completed and things. I think obviously there was an issue as well that we were getting other things done down there and things. But I would rather in the future that this doesn't happen again.
Something we could write in your contracts in future.
Did he have payment instructions on the invoice?
I think so, yeah. And generally we told him it was going through, but I shouldn't have been involved at all, but he's had to come back to me. And that isn't something I wanted to be doing either, for obvious reasons. But I need to just say, it's caused me stress and upset this week, and him. And I think it's just something we need to avoid in the future.
So what was it, we didn't pay on time, or we didn't pay when he was expecting it, or?
So,
What happened?
The invoice came in mid-Feb and didn't get paid until the weekend there. So it's a couple of weeks delayed, but when it's a significant sum of money, which, that to any trader or that when they've got the expense out of materials and that, and then to at the lower, your fences would still hold this it's not been a great kind of show for him. But yeah, hopefully it won't happen in the future.
Did we have an invoice last meeting?
No.
It's not when the payment's gone through, it's the communication with him that's the thing. I mean, as I explained to him about the way that our finances and payments get made, and the fact that because it's public money we have to authorise it, and he gets that and things, but when he put the bill in, he had no kind of acknowledgement to say, this is when you should expect monies, or you know, you could, or anything, because he put it through, and there wasn't, I don't think he got an acknowledgement saying we're happy with the work, payment will be made on this date,
That's
or anything like that.
because I put it through and then sent out the signatures and had questions back about work, so that.
Yeah.
Review policies.
So we said that we would move the review of policies to March, that we're doing the 10th year end. These are our policies that we have. We've still got terms of reference, but I think that they should be done. We should get each committee to look at their terms of reference at their next meeting, and then they can bring them back if they review them. So I think there's some updates there to do. There's not very many changes. I did put changes on the end of each policy. There's not a huge number of changes, I don't think. Mostly it was like correcting typos or references which seem to have a bit odd.
So I was just wondering whether we should move that to the last thing on the agenda. Because I think E was, it was about through everything else and then do that. And then
Yeah.
Okay, well, get past 8, move on to 9. Any updates?
I'll say the County Committee has been involved in the website. Thank you, gentlemen. And we also put the new defib box with connection. That's all I've got to report.
Right, so there have been 3 meetings. One with Matthew Kearney from ACOM on the 19th.
Busy body.
I beg your pardon?
You're a busy body.
Well, yes, well, we're trying to get it going. So, you know, they have kicked off the resident, you know, the
Housing needs assessment.
housing needs assessment. He asked me a few questions around it. He mentioned that there could be a package available. There should be no cost to the Parish Council. That there is a package available to help us in doing a design statement, which is something I then subsequently talked to Ken, the architect, who's now involved in the neighbourhood plan. He's part of the steering group, as is a lady called Lee Pollock, who lives there and who works at Newcastle University. So we had a get together, and we talked through a number of things. Firstly, with the parking side of things, we had Rob Naples from the County Council come on. The parking side of things, which was very popular with the community, they felt very strongly about it, doesn't really come under neighbourhood planning. We need to be talking to the traffic department at the County Council about parking down Main Street and parking on South View. There are impacts of trying to organise the parking, partly being that there is a cost of, I think it's somewhere around £30 a year to get a neighbours resident permit holders only pass. So I think some people might see that as a negative as a downside.
I think some of the businesses that operate in the bottom of Main Street might see it as a major impact on their business.
Well,
you can't park anywhere near.
I don't think that it would impact on that bit of the village, because there's no resident, well, there's a few, but there's not many resident houses around there. It's the main bit of Main Street where I think the parking's problem, and on South View as well.
The main bit of Main Street.
So up from the running cross, up from the running cross. That's when you've got houses on both sides, and where it gets very narrow. And
Yeah.
gets very
So you've got the running box, the hairdressers, and the shop, all of which,
And the gallery.
and yours, yeah,
Yeah.
and the gallery, all of which are going to be trying to bring in people and need parking in that area. If you put residents parking in there, that's going to ruin their business.
But then there's that, but I mean, that's effectively what Bamber does. Bamber's got its big car park on the outskirts now, isn't it?
We need a car park. We need a designated area in the village for.
Like
Well, that's the other impact of the idea is that we can assign land within the parish to be used as a car park, but getting someone to actually build one and develop one could be a non-start. And I don't think you can have one without the other, quite honestly. So it's not really part of neighbourhood planning, it's more about open transport, and we might come in with the sort of 20-mile-an-hour limit aspect of it. It's certainly popular with people in the village. A lot of people came up and said the thing they didn't like about living in town was all the parking traffic, and it's up to us to address that.
Yeah, a lot of people that complain about parking are the ones that have to drive somewhere else and want to park outside the shop or the box, and the residents that live there can't get in.
It's very tricky to park.
I'm aware, just patience.
Okay, that's your.
But it's tricky to park anywhere. I mean, as a resident, it's tricky to park on the street. And it's slightly better at ours now, but after those two houses got built opposite us, that's actually helped a lot because those cars all tend to go off the road now. I mean, so it's slightly better, but it's still tricky. We've got two holiday homes next to us, and
Well, one's up for sale,
yeah,
so they can put some movements in.
so it might go, well, it might, or it
You've
might
got
go to
builders
being,
and you've got this sort of movement.
but it might go to being more.
Not yet, but it's going to start sale.
Okay.
Having been on, I think it'll be 3 walk-arounds now, one with Councillor Thorne and 2 others with NCC officials. We asked at the time about the lay-by. Sorry.
Are they recent or?
These were as a parish councillor and as part of the working group for the South View and for the Oval. So the lay-by was discussed as potentially a long-term car park with spaces, which I think was looked on as fairly favourable as potentially doing that, having some designated bays. At the time, and before they metered the electric parking bays in, there was talk about potentially putting some bays in there as well for electric. So there was that element. The other element was, obviously you've discussed the having the cards for parking, for residents parking. Yes, there is a cost to that, but also alongside that, it would not necessarily be all day. It would be sort of a limited parking. So it would, if you still live there, you would still benefit from parking. It would just be certain times within the day. So that could be mitigated for some. I'm not saying that that's what would happen, but that's what you could ask for. And actually, there was a third one, but that's actually sort of just gone now. So there was so they are open to having various parking schemes, but particularly the lay-by was.
We've got residents parking down opposite
I think it's workable. It's just a method. It's just a way of finding the route through.
It won't solve, say, a few problems.
No, the South View is just the number of
It's
vehicles.
the number of vehicles, unless you utilise different areas there for parking.
The issue that we've got is that this is highways, traffic, Parish Council, Northumbria County Council, and it's all merging together, all over different pockets of land. And what we're going to need really is a cohesive plan of bringing all those together. And it is going to really take some whittling out to make that work. And it's very easy to go, well, here's a solution, but then you look at, well, it's taking funds that should be coming from highways and then utilising it on county land, which would be, say, for example, the garages or parish land. And that is going to involve the communication between those different parties.
We're just trying to sort of find our way through that. So, you said it was to do funding?
Yeah, so when you look at, we've just said that it wouldn't be the case for a neighbourhood plan. And if it was highways that was, that you were trying to get to do the work and the funding, however, it's going to have to be part of, it's going to take thinking within the parish. And potential solutions are looking at areas of land that don't belong to highways, is my point. So it's going to involve, quite a lot of communication and amalgamation between those things. And at the moment, we've got things that are just running in parallel, and we're going to have to bring them together to find a solution.
I think there's a route through. I don't know what it is yet, but I think there is a route through.
Oh yeah,
somewhere.
yeah, there will be.
And and again, it's very popular with the community. There's quite a strong feeling about that. Anyway, other aspects, we talked about the sort of green side of development within the parish, and that one's been a non-starter as well, mostly because there is unlikely to be a great deal of development in the parish between now and 2036 as we fulfil the housing requirements of the county. And unless it needs planning permission, we can't influence it, if you see what I mean, as a neighbourhood plan. So there is stuff we could probably do down the way, but not at this early stage. So we've kind of thought to put that one on hold for now, because we don't really see that there's a lot of mileage in anything that we can do. The green space designation, that is looking, we've got 3 possible candidates for green space designation: the rec field, the bog field, and whatever that little bit of land is called that's on the, you know, when you go up path past the doctor's surgery and down the other side.
Grassworks Farms land.
Got
Do you have any idea who owns it?
Yeah, the bloke that lives in Grassworks Farms.
So the entire plot of land belongs
That
to
whole
Yeah,
block, so he's got the
that
garden
meadow.
up that side, and then that whole meadow is his.
which he maintains and
And he really does look after it very
out on
well.
it a lot of the time, and is very easy to talk to.
Okay. Anyone know what his name is?
I can tell you, I'll check with Stephen. Stephen speaks to him regularly.
Okay.
Definitely in that
I'm happy to chat with him because I've already got a relationship with him.
Okay.
That would help.
They have to fulfil some criteria, basically. They have to be accessible, or close to the community. They have to be...
So having a public footpath right away going through his land would have it as...
That is, yeah, it ticks that particular box. It has to provide certain amenity to the community, which includes wildlife and tranquility, isn't
I
it?
think it would tick all those boxes.
Yeah, it would certainly fulfil that one.
There's a long list, like, that it has to tick at least one of the boxes, but it can be like even just attractiveness, I think, as well, but then it has to be significant.
Yeah.
It's got wild orchids growing in there.
Yeah, there's all sorts going on in there. So the bog field as well, and it's probably not necessarily, but the rec field too, as we own that, and that makes life a lot easier. The thing with the bog field is the owner.
And I think that the rec field might already have green status through the county council local plan, because a lot of the playing fields for they have like a sports and playing field designation in the local plan. Just check with Rob Maples, because I know that often when the county do their leaf through the MP, they'll strike out anything that's what they consider communication, so it might be worth, I mean, he'll tell you whether it's worth putting in or not.
But there's also the bit that goes down towards the river from the end of the sports area that you want to get in the green field.
Yeah.
Isn't that the triple SI?
Some of it is, some of it's not.
And just maybe just make sure that doesn't affect anything of the sort of our future plans for the rec field. We don't want them to.
Path down to the river.
No, there'll be
The building.
potential building. We don't want
Well,
our
this is-
neighbourhood plan to say, oh,
They
actually,
would
we
like-
can't do this.
Hopefully, the building work is going to happen before the plan takes.
I like that positive attitude. Do you
The
get
thing
some water ready?
it's our neighbourhood plan, and it's our rec field. So I think we can stipulate what happens down there.
Okay.
This facility's a big advantage if we can get that down there.
Bob Field's got nothing right
It'd be a big advantage to get that down there.
The bog field, however,
Desire lines. What has it got? One from the right way and one and like
One,
two design lines, yeah.
Bob Field.
That is beautiful as well. So they walk through
Well,
the weekend of it.
it's really interesting if you.
not beautiful.
It
It's
is,
beauty's in the eye of the
It
beholder.
is. If you
It is
go
really
on
interesting.
I was watching those that Mark Williamson's done, and it's like literally you walk through it and you think you're not seeing anything, and then suddenly it's like ping, 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 really rare, endangered species, and it's just like.
You want to ask Joe's children if you don't think it's beautiful.
But
Yeah, right next to the pond. Right.
Anyway,
Anyway,
if you've been down there when the lights are on at the rec field and there's a barn owl that's hunting over it and using the lights, and it's absolutely dangerous.
the thing with the pond field is the owner of it. Everyone seems to know his name, but nobody seems to know who he is or where he is or how we get in touch with him.
Yeah. But do we have any contact details?
Do we have any contact details at all?
Probably look the other way.
Right. Is he linked to Thompson's and Pro?
No.
Well,
I mean, I think we've
He's
still
still
got
on land
contact
here.
details.
And he got into horses, he just was in the horse space.
So his daughter runs the business. So,
His daughter runs it, I think.
Because I thought it was the son that we dealt with.
No, it's
the line rumours he died, so.
I think his daughter's there. I don't know if I don't know. It's Trevor Thorne might know.
Trevor will definitely.
So we need to contact them as a courtesy.
But they can't stop it. They can put in their objections to say they don't want it and why they don't think it meets the criteria. But if NCC and the examiner consider that it meets the criteria, they can't actually prevent it from happening. It's just
They give it as an option to valid.
they did, yeah. It's
Yeah,
not
we
it's
need
not
to
optional. Did you see that information I sent you?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Actually looks quite nice, doesn't it?
Alan wasn't on the council.
Oh,
no, I
Just thought through to just thought it useful for you to have.
Most synthetic plan.
It's just because I sent it to him because I thought, because he was asking about the bog field for the end of the year.
So that's the developments. The other thing is I met with some ladies who did the neighbourhood plan for Swan, who were in the process of doing the neighbourhood plan for Swan, which was very useful actually, quite positive. One thing I never realised is you could protect a view. You could have a protected view, which
That's interesting.
might be a good thing. I really don't know much of the details about it, but you can, things like on the bridge, looking down the river, that sort of view, on the top of the village, looking down into the village.
High farm.
Well, exactly. Protect that view.
Yeah.
How much a big lot down towards High Farm with it? I don't know how much of an impact that would be.
It's more the steam though, isn't it?
Yeah. It's the big funnel and
Yeah.
the fallout from it.
Mr. Chairman, could I just mention that actually having got the photographs of the steam, and the emissions within the steam as well, we've also got footage of the smokestack, because there are two stacks. So there is a smokestack, so when the fire up the boilers with the wood chip, of the current one, which is going to be built, which is built, so it's the same height difference of things. So when the fire up the boiler to obviously process the thing.
Yeah, but we understand that there'd be steam and smoke or whatever.
No, but the smoke that actually comes out of that one is with the wood chips, and that is one of the most toxic of the emissions.
Right.
So that potentially will actually settle down into the river basin. But
No,
it's the same
what
process.
Fiona's saying is about
The high farm.
The view.
dropping down. If you walked that walk, like on an early morning when there's a mist and it kind of settles into the river in that low-lying area where it's protected from the wind, I think that's the potential thing that can happen with emissions from it. And if they,
Could affect the wildlife.
yeah,
It's just one more thing. My understanding is they do set the boilers off in the morning early for the rest of the day, so that would be the most
I think we've
impactful time.
already got an objection.
Yeah, so that's it for the neighbourhood plan.
Thank you, Alan. Sounds like it's moving on.
So biodiversity and climate, the main thing at the moment that's happened with that is the Copian River Action Group, as it's now called, CRAG, which everything's going along quite well. There's quite a lot of development on that. There are, 1 or 2 meetings a week at the moment with it, so and all happening well. Although I think I'm the only person that's fully involved with it now, but really exciting what's probably going to be happening. Anybody who's still in the group that saw the logo that we're developing for it and things that I've had someone do. So yeah, that's all exciting, and I'll give you another update next time. At the moment, the plan is for us to start testing on the 1st of April. if all being well. So we had a lady from the environmental agency come to speak to us last week and show us how to use all the kit that we've got. That went well, and then Jamie Day and Jane, who's the lady from Northumbria WI, went across to do a big talk with a lot of other rivers groups, which went on. It was a whole day of people talking, and people are really quite interested in what we're doing because we're looking at the whole length of the river. We've even got people as far as Heckle now making an interest and wanting to get involved with it. And as it goes with regards to river water quality system, that's probably kind of the biggest geographical project that there is, especially in the north, where we're looking at a whole ecosystem, a whole river basin. The majority of the other projects are looking at very localised river water quality, and it'd be really nice if we can get this on my scientifically relevant. And what's been really interesting, everyone's seen the letter that came through today regarding water treatment works, is if we can start collecting data now and have a year's worth of data before everything gets fully installed there and things actually see the benefit that is, that's a really good example that we can report back and even to central government to say this is the benefit of making sure these water treatment works are working as they should be, and that's the hope for it at the moment, and I think it's quite exciting. There's a lot of momentum with it.
If you've now got expanded area, is there any scope to get some more tests from it?
So yeah, so there'll be more funding. Well, I think there's a few things that we've got to get polished off over the next month, but then come next financial year we'll see what Alison has got available and see if she's, because she was almost apologetic about what the environmental agency can actually do, because they're asking for citizen science and they're asking for people to volunteer to do the testing that they don't have the finances to do. They don't have the manpower, people on the ground to be able to do it, and they're kitting us out with basic equipment. But I think the more people that get involved that are actually signed up to it, and the more of a political pressure that it creates. So I think that, and she says that there will be more funding that she'll be able to put our way. We've also got Mark Bennett from over at Brinkburn. He's putting grant applications in for Windmill because they're in the Windmill areas, and we're talking to a few different people, so there is potential for more grants coming in and whatnot. Our main thing is that we just want to start the process so that we can start having data. It's all going on to something called the EpiCollect app, which is, Alison set us up with our own sign-in for it and things so we can all put the data into it. And that's an app that was created by the Wellcome Trust, and we can record on it all of the data that we get from the testing, but we can also save photographs onto it and anecdotal comment about what's going on the river and what we were, and it's all location sensitive. So, and if people can't get it to recognise their location where they're testing, we can use what3 words or survey to record it. So it's really quite clever what it is, and it's going to, I think it's fantastic. And what's really nice about it as well is because Jamie's now got full authority over the app as well. He's started being able to tweak it for our particular needs. So it was that you could only save one photo onto it, and he's managed to get it so that you can save multiple now. Because we've got people in the river that are testing salty water as well, they can't test for some of the things that we're doing in fresh water, but they can test for other things. So we've managed to get the app to work for that as well. So it's really quite exciting. I'm quite it's really nice to be working with such an enthusiastic group of people like that's all involved with it and things. So I think it's going to be good.
I saw they had their first pollution event.
Yes, they did it in Northumbria. Yeah.
Detected pollution.
So they are. So we did it, but they've been doing it weekly. The plan is for us to start with just doing it monthly, and we're going to be doing it quite tightly on the first Monday of the month. So I only have one day a month to remember that I have to do something. So we're going to do that, but then we're also going to do significant event testing. Say if somebody notices something upstream, we can be testing all the way downstream and whatnot. The lady Alison that came from the environmental agency, she was really enthusiastic about what our plans were and things. So it's good, and we've got Rivers Trust on board. So it's
Can you write it for the bridge, please?
Yeah, I will do. 10th of March. Okay, I'll do that.
And I get it.
So, and then I think what I was saying about the rec field stuff is what I was talking to Trevor about before. This has been going backwards and forwards because we didn't realise this when we started it, but it wasn't that long ago that a lot of what is involved with a pre-planning app has altered, and there is this other thing called a general inquiry that you can do, which I think would have been more suitable for what we wanted for inquiring about putting the building on the rec. But everything had altered relatively recently. So generally when you do a pre-planning app now, it is almost the same as putting a planning application in, which we have not got that information. If you get the information for putting a planning application in, would require us doing a grant, getting a grant to get that all done and getting someone to oversee it and whatnot. So we're really just trying to get council to say that they are happy for us to put a building down there without us having to pay for them to do a vehicle movement analysis of and whatnot. So Kevin's been amazing. He's gone back to them and done a written report and things and said how what we would be planning to do with getting vehicles down there. Claire's been involved with that, so like reducing the thing what was happened on the school where they used the school field to put a temporary road down to get vehicles in to allow them to turn down there, and it shouldn't be an issue. We're just awaiting feedback now, but unfortunately the person that we have to communicate with only works 2 days a week, so that you get the same kind of thing, and then they have to discuss with people, so then you get more weeks go by, which is why I'm trying to get Trevor just to chivvy things along a little bit for us. But as soon as I've got any more information back on that, then I will let everybody know. Those my bits.
On Thursday night.
Thursday night. Just miss everything. Can you?
You just ask.
I've got written on there, mention cable.
Yeah.
I'll bring my laptop and say, I want to show it up.
I do think it's because I do want to remove that. I feel that we can't. And just swap the tiles.
Yeah.
If not, fuck.
But it's fine. We'll get done.
We'll have a lot of insulation work done, not the ceiling, but other bits and pieces.
Insulation.
Insulation.
It's on one of them. If we put stuff up and it is literally just stuck a bit.
The toilets are starting next week.
Today?
Today?
Exactly.
Skips out there. So, it's all good.
Move on to correspondence received.
Or I might move them.
Yeah, if there's some.
I do usually try and check them.
Planning. The airfield, is it not been retracted now, that application?
It's been refused.
They also, the management of the airfield have left. There was a new management of the airfield.
And then new owners as well.
Yeah.
And the owner's the same, but the,
Right, I thought the
Business being sold.
the business, the current, the people who were running the businesses at the airfield have ceased running businesses there, and there's new people there doing that. But the actual owner of the airfield is the same.
They're in for land.
Yeah.
It's the same. But all of the airfield operations have changed hands.
Do we know anything about the new ones?
Yeah, they want to go back to the traditionals. Back to basics.
Back to
Basics.
or like it used to be like a hobby.
There's a new company been set up. One of the main backers is Lord Kirk Welpington, House of Lords, Lord, ex-Chief Constable of Northumbria Police.
I'm missing everything.
Somebody asked did we know who the new owners were.
Right, okay, right.
So
So
who's
that's
running it?
just that you're saying a company name and a person.
I think it is going to still be a flying school, though, isn't it?
Sorry?
I think it is going to still be a flying school, isn't it?
There is still a flying school, yeah.
They've not put a Gazette article out.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
that's
So
right.
that all like pre-booked pleasure flights and things will be honoured and whatnot. It didn't say like go forth and things, but it says that it was
They're
kind
still
of like,
planning to continue the restoration stuff and that
Yeah,
as
the
well.
old World War II aircraft and stuff.
Right.
They look at kind of thing.
What's the latest with the planning application for the doctors?
Still outstanding, but it's due apparently
Yeah.
any minute as well.
Have there been comments made or?
I think there's one person, the last I checked on it, from neighbouring residents who commented just about
About the
entrance where they drive in and where they drive out.
Generic highways addressed anyway in their comments and stuff. So
Sorry to interrupt, just for completeness, I probably should have said I'm an investment planner. So apologies for that.
just don't know you want to address that set.
Yeah, well,
congratulations.
Yeah. That's a quick one.
it wasn't.
Some of it is, no, but it hasn't been on there. No, it hasn't been on there. Sometimes I feel like there was a patch where I was literally typing the same thing every time, and then this one they seem to be
Things are
moving
moving.
a bit faster.
Start at the end, wasn't it?
Got to get rid of all the 23 applications soon. Got to get rid of all the 23 golden applications.
An interesting note about planning. If your planning application is need to be pulled and variated, it costs for a full view application now. As of last month, I think, or government data that if it gets knocked back because you haven't amended anything or taken on board decisions from highways, etc., it's another fee to pay. Whereas before you were allowed variation. Yeah, so resubmissions are charged now, basically.
Yeah, next money we prefer to pay.
Well, they did say savings for efficiencies, didn't they?
I just wonder when it's time to put the parish building, the Rackfield building application in. It's worth trying to get contact with the likes of a highways officer and get the heritage assessments done.
It would be so much has already been done with the pre-plan that we've done. So
No, we've got costs.
So, yeah, so we've got a kind of there's a mode of communication things. We've already had feedback from and whatnot. So I think we're just getting up to the point where it's going to start costing us money to do more, which is why we're trying to get them to say that they pass it with condition on it, which is what we really want them to do. I mean, the fact is that they've not said no so far, so I think it is going to,
That's a
happen.
question.
But, yeah.
What was the problem with access? Was it cars passing on the lane?
No, they just want us to tell them about it. They want us. They're basically saying we can't. Highways are like a consultee. They're saying we can't consult on this and give you our opinion because you haven't done this traffic analysis. And we've said the thing is, all of that will be dealt with in the full application. You know, we know that vehicles can get down the lane. We've had them before. You know, there's options. But we don't want to.
There's a Parish Council park area.
Exactly, and
There needs new signs.
and when they did their, when the school, this is what I said to Kevin, what we referred to before, when they did the school one, which was County Council's
had some sort of assessment done that.
No, because they had access because of the.
No, but that's saying it's just
It's
access
not
down
about
the
the
way.
legality of access,
It's
it's about
just-
the fact if they want us to do a traffic analysis about how
See.
vehicles would reach there, what the widths are,
Yeah.
whether there would be access from the point of entry to the point of the build site, or basically saying, well,
But they had access from the lane into their build site, which is a bit different. That was going across the field.
We have a gate that can get into the field.
Anyway, but Kevin's answer, Kevin had a really good response.
I've had a rocket launcher down there.
Kevin did do a really good response to them, and we just said, you know, we just want an answer. This will all be dealt with when we come to do the full thing, and
I think it's like, can the fire truck get down to a building? If we build a building, it's like, well, it gets down there every fair day, so.
Yeah, it doesn't always get off the field every Saturday, but it gets down there.
You know fire engines can get down there.
Oh, I know fire engines can get down there. But, apparently my word isn't good enough even. Yeah, so it's, but that's what's happening with it. But we will make sure that before the final application's in, that every box is ticked. And I think this is when we're going to end up. What was your friend from Alec? Yeah, is that we will probably get a grant and papers to.
I mean, that's their, you know, it's what they do, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's exactly. That's yeah. So.
We jump back then to our lovely policies.
I think what I would suggest is that anything we are happy, that we're happy with, that just need a light touch review, we can approve those, and then if any that we do need a more detailed review, we then defer those particular ones and we can do more detail.
I think the finance one's
But the finance one's a bit strange because basically I've done very little to it because
straight boilerplate.
yeah, it's the NALC model, so I don't know really, the only bit I suggest change was I think something you put in the first place about when the back reconciliations were done. At the moment it does say that ours should be done quarterly by a councillor, but obviously at year end the file has to go to Patrick anyway, and he does a full bank reconciliation as part of his internal audit, so it seems it's just unnecessarily delayed to have to send it to the council of Thorne and then to get the internal auditor. I have done a more thorough review of the financial regulations. They do go backwards and forwards quite a bit, they're quite unwieldy. However, NALC are in the process of doing their own review, and it just seems like we would be spending our time looking through them to find if they could publish something much more streamlined and more sensible, then we just go with them in due course.
Because it seems like there's a lot in there that isn't relevant to
Yeah.
us. There's a lot in there that we don't actually do. And equally, there's the one bit about the basis of financial control needs to be the budgets is really important and incredibly vague. So,
As I say, the NALC ones, I don't know when they're due out, but I mean, I can certainly ask the question and see if they've got any timeline for that. But I don't think there's any point us heavily reviewing it, knowing that they're doing the review currently. And they did have, I know that they had a number of workshops and online sessions that people could go on to comment on. So I think they've done it sounds like it's quite a thorough review this time rather than just them updating slightly.
what flow charts is another thing with financial regulations? Because it would seem to make sense to build a flow chart of what to do and when, under what circumstances.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's allowable or not.
It is, but
I think it's just what we were saying, it's what financial regulations are heavily built on the NALC model. I think my opinion on it would be, given the fact that they are reviewing it, we would move forward with our current one with the amendments made to note that as soon as we get NALC's revised model, we have a in-depth review of the current and the new NALC one, and then get what best fits us, because I think there's a lot of
Could they work for policies committee?
for policies committee, or even
And then pass it.
and then pass it through everyone just to. So I think there's a lot, as you say, there's a lot in there that's irrelevant. There's a lot in there that is far too complex for the size of what we require.
I mean, the last time they did a proper review, they've done tweaks each year, their last model, the ones that these are based on is from 2019, so they are a number of years out of date now, and that's why they're doing. So they were seeking. They launched a consultation which was ended in November 2023. So you'd hope that they're busy working through that, and I can certainly ask and see if they've got a timeline.
Yeah.
So do you want me to kind of just defer that one, and then I'll hopefully be able to report back at the next meeting about whether there's a timeline, or do you want to just approve as they are?
Personally, would think it would be best to approve as they are, knowing, and then further review down the line, because we're happy with them at the moment. So,
How long's down the line?
well,
That's what I'm going to try and find out.
could be a month's time, or it could be a couple of months' time.
I don't know, it could be a year, so I'll try and find out. It doesn't tell us on here.
It doesn't stop us again from a future review. If we find out in 2 months' time or next year before we get it, unlikely, I would drop hope. But we can then review it at a policy meeting, because I think you can then sit down with it in front of us all and properly discuss it and tear it apart.
I mean, are we obliged to put certain things in? Is there like a statutory obligation, or is it just do what you like?
I think there are certain things that will. I mean, that's why we've kind of gone with their model anyway, because obviously they are, the mandatory stuff will be in there. We don't have to have, we've said for a while that it's very wordy for what it's achieving, and I think it's designed for a larger council where you've got different departments dealing with different jobs, because it's this thing about authority to spend and then authority to authorise the payment and authority to make the payment. Well, in our case, it's a very small pool of people doing those jobs. But I don't think there's any point us doing it. I mean, we've tried before. We've certainly sat down, myself, Richard, Eileen, Lindsay. We sat down last time and started looking through them. It's quite a big job to rewrite them in any sort of thorough way. And I think if the one's going to come out soon and proves to be useful, we should just wait and adopt that one. But if it's going to be, a year, 2 years, we could look at making this more manageable.
That's why I think it just doesn't harm to just keep it approved as is at the moment then.
Because they're so interrelated, when you start tweaking one as well, it ends up that you cross-reference to something else, you end up having to tweak something else. So at the moment, until we know what they're doing with that financial regulations, it might be easier just to...
So I've recommended that we approve them as is, subject to a change to remove the requirement for a councillor to complete bank reconciliation report 4 on the basis that this is carried out during the year-end process.
I'm happy with that change.
I'll keep on banging on about it.
That's fine. I'll try and find out a timeline for when it's going to be done.
And then we can set up a meeting with the policies to just sit down and purely focus on that one document, whereas, at the Parish Council meeting, we don't have the time to run through it, but it can take 2-3 hours on its own.
Yeah.
Given with it being one of the more important documents amongst them. Anyone? Any other comments on them?
The publication scheme didn't have in the likes of the utilities at the annual meeting last year, so we might need to add that in. Talk about the village welcome guide that's out of date. And
So that's been replaced really with that, hasn't it? Yeah. So if I take that out.
That's not quite the same thing.
Parish leaflet, out of date. So just amend that to say parish leaflet. Parish. So delete that one.
Well, we will want to have the parish
So is that one to review that?
That's one to be reviewed, isn't
Okay,
it?
so
Populations, okay.
yeah. Yeah, so that was
Because
It's a
it
simple
goes,
one to review.
it goes to new people moving in, to tell them what's available in
to review.
village.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
which,
great.
You know, these are the local businesses, these are the local.
okay, so going down the list then, the abuse of process and vexatious complainants, is that to review or to approve as it is?
I think that's okay as it is.
Yes. Hazel's.
That's quite recent.
We only
That
did that
was
last year, so I don't think that needs.
I think I changed the type, I might have changed the type.
There was a big just out in one of the bits in part 3 that referred back to previous targets, which might still be in, but you can talk about it anyway.
Oh, I think it was duplicated on my.
Yeah, it was duplicated, but it's there for purpose.
Oh, was it? Okay. Do you want that back in then?
No, it doesn't matter, you can
Oh,
start
right, it'll still be there.
What is the retention policy? I don't even
That's
know.
like how long we hold on to documents for.
Oh, I thought it was how long we count.
How we have councillors.
I was like, what?
Bring your own device policy is really just housekeeping about people obviously accessing council documents on their own phones and computers, and it's just about security of information and that sort of thing. So again, don't think there's anything particularly exciting in that one. You have to approve that one.
Yeah.
Code of conduct, we recently reviewed this one. I'm just doing it again to bring them all into line with dates. You remember we changed the code of conduct recently to just move the interests from in the body of text to appendices. Complaints policy, I think that's been reviewed.
That was recently reviewed.
Co-option policy, that's one that Lindsay worked on, so it hadn't been reviewed since we've done it. But it seemed okay when I looked through it. Just I'll change anything from the previous version because it seemed okay. It just set out how we would, the order that we would do things in.
And it works.
Financial regulations we've discussed, qualification schemes going to be reviewed, retention policy. I think last year I amended that to bring things in line with now. So there's like a now guidance note which suggests how long we keep things for. I haven't made any changes to it. And then the standing orders, again, it's not a huge. We did do some reviews last year, I think. So just made some changes.
But they're not just titles.
Yeah, and then I amended 10C to about timing of submission of things. I think that was just me carry up with other things.
In summary, approving A, B, C, D, E, F,
And
G, I, J, with leaving then the publication scheme to review.
we'll review the application scheme, yeah, the financial regulations we're approving for now with the proviso that we're going to find out the mark date.
Okay, sure, handle that. Jump ahead then to items for the next agenda.
I should apologise to Anne because she did mention Felton and Bloom Pots last time, and I sort of assumed that the planters, the property management
Coming up soon,
It's not about competition, it's about seeking volunteers. So, there's one at the bottom of Church Bank that used to be looked after by the Simpsons. There's the one at the top that used to be looked after by somebody. There's a couple of ones around the village that just now have nobody that's sort of earmarked to look after them. And what I wanted to check was, first of all, is it all right to appeal in the bridge for people to take these on?
Yeah.
And secondly, just that we'll have a register kept that
I mean, I
is
did
who
have a
is
message
looking
that
after them, and the people that are looking after them feel that if they need to purchase plants and things, or soil or compost or whatever, that they feel comfortable doing that, because some of them have been supporting the village by doing these planters for years now and never ever claimed anything.
Well, our property management committee does have a responsibility to liaise with volunteers, and we did approve Cherry's claim, which obviously she was one of those who did for a lot of years, and we approved her reimbursement of compost this time, and that was done at the property management committee. So if we can just work, it'd be great to put something in the fridge in the meantime.
Yeah, I'll just see if I can recruit some volunteers on it, and then I'll pass you the information of where all the pots are. There's one on the bridge that the fair have replaced a little overzealously with the cement, so we've now got a planting deck of about.
Just think of that and you can put alpines in it. If you think you're going to have issues, I'll do it.
Speak out of it.
I think Terry was normally the person that looks after that project, and if you want to, you can be it. I had fun.
I think anyone complain about my husband's blood sweat too.
I'm not complaining, I just said you were a bit overzealous with how much. Try this with the Christmas tree is not moving at all. Once it's in that pot, it's not moving at all, which is great, because usually we'd have to go down on Saturday, put it up, and go back on Sunday, put it up again.
Have to be planted, and I was like, deeper than that.
Yeah. So, but it just, I mean, it looks lovely. The new pot looks great there, and it's so much nicer than the one that was Keith Robertson. Complete new oak.
Anything else for the next agenda? Feel free to send them through. We did,
Any idea on timelines of doctor's surgery? When do we need to decide and vote?
We hear back from the solicitors.
Yeah.
And do a campaign?
Okay.
Yeah.
See. It's
But we'll get a meeting, we need to put a meeting into the
maybe be worth it getting another call of the solicitor.
Yeah.
That people can try their best to make an effort to attend. That'd be good, because I think everyone that attended seemed to be in a similar position, but then we'll wrap the questions after.
But it was a short, it was short.
No, I know it's
I
short,
think
but it's
that
just there was after questions after that.
I need to
Had we known them prior, we could have asked.
yeah, but anyway, I'll try and get the date in as soon as possible with that.
And are we 8th or 15th?
I think we went for the 15th, it's on our website
I
for
think
the
it's
15th. We can move it across on the virtual bookings.
Yes.
Because I think the first Monday would have been the bank holiday, it's Easter
The bank
Monday,
holiday
and then the 8th it falls in the middle of the Easter holidays, and I think a few people had sort of said
Yeah.
this would not be timing for them, so we said we'd go with the 15th instead.
Happy with that.
Okay.
For the next
They did great.
Claire, can you do us a list of when all the Thursday meetings are? You know how it is last year? Just so I can diary them, because I've got all sorts of things coming in and I want to make sure.
Yeah.
Be there when I need
No.
to be.
Yeah. I think so.
Yes, you will. She's got all the job description. Dr. Larry.
So it's the master parish model. And they've got the details of the